I'm 27 and my husband is 30. We tried for a few years to have a baby. Long story short, it didn't work out and we ended up going through a couple of rounds of in vitro fertilization, IVF. Fast forward. We find out we're pregnant and we are super happy, like over the moon ecstatic. We couldn't wait for the 12-week mark to tell people and started working on a nursery right away. However, we go to our scan and find out we are having 4 babies. 4. That's insane. I'm cutting a lot of backstories out because honestly, it's hard for me to talk about. At the time, my husband and I are just in shock, but happy we have healthy babies. Now, I'm a small woman, 5 feet 0 inches and very petite. At my next scan, it was suggested I consider aborting 2 of the pregnancies for the sake of my body, and to be honest, I was quietly considering bringing this idea up to my husband anyway because of the money involved with raising 4 children. We could afford 2 babies, but no way could we afford 4. I and my husband are distraught that this is our reality, but we went home and tried to figure it out. From our latest scan, we know we have identical twin girls and 2 fraternal boys in there. If we go through with the selective abortion, which we most likely will, I brought up that I would like to keep the 2 girls as they are identical twins. I'm hoping they have the twin bond, and also, to be honest, I've always wanted girls. My husband is on board with this, but as soon as I told my mother and sister the scenario, they kicked off, calling us selfish, entitled, saying we are searching for designer babies, etc. The way I see it is that we have to make a choice which babies go if we do this, and it breaks our hearts that we are in this position, but we need to do what we can for the sake of our children. This story sounds so tragic, like a soap storyline or something, but it's honestly the hardest thing I have ever done. Not the idiot. It is an extremely difficult choice, and deciding to keep 2 out of the 4 is already a lot to handle. On a surface level, which 2 out of the 4 you decide to keep is basically arbitrary, so there is nothing wrong with keeping the twins over the others. It is a decision that is impossible to judge unless you are in that situation yourself. Anyone who passes judgment on how you proceed with your decisions regarding your body and your family is awful through and through. I'm a triplet, and my mom became pregnant with us through IVF and actually had 5 eggs, and this makes me wonder. Did she do the same thing and selectively choose 3 and abort the others? They always jokingly said I ate the other 2 because I was the largest out of the 3. If I found out my mother aborted the others by chance, it'd kind of give me a new perspective on life. And if I found out she aborted them by choice, I'd feel honored but would also wonder what my other siblings would be like. Honestly, I'd suggest lying and say the other 2 didn't make it. Not the idiot you can't have 4. So you need to choose 2. I'd honestly suggest lying to your family and telling them that you were advised to abort those 2 specifically due to issues with the cells or something along those lines. That you didn't want to talk about it before. You don't need them to know about what's already tough for you. A couple of rounds is really expensive. I wouldn't blame you if you only kept 1 after that, especially being so tiny. So my girlfriend, her 27 me 28, wants to go to this fancy new restaurant in the city that she's heard good things about. We get there and it seems like one of those hipster places, but whatever, I'm hungry. I look at the menu and this place is crazy expensive, like every dish is more than $15, $20 and half the ingredients I've never heard of. I order the bison steak, $26, and my girlfriend orders some weird pasta, gnocchi I think, $18. Very important, these were listed as entrees on the menu. Mind you, with drinks plus tip this is going to come out to over $60, which is already ridiculous for dinner for 2 people. So anyway, we order as we are starving. My steak arrives and I am shocked. It's like 6 small pieces of sliced steak with some weird sauce on the side and a small handful of salad. I joke to the waiter, "Where's the rest of my steak?" And he explains they serve smaller portions at this restaurant because they focus on getting the highest quality ingredients. I don't care if this bison was blessed by the Pope himself, it's absurd to charge that much for such a small bit of steak. It's highway robbery. When I go to restaurants I expect an entree to fill me up and be enough for leftovers. I'm complaining to my girlfriend and she's getting annoyed with me. Similar situation with her pasta, it was like maybe 12 pieces of gnocchi dressed up with some frou-frou thing. Granted, the food was pretty good, but I cannot get over how tiny these portions are. I'm a big guy and I like to eat, what can I say? When the waiter comes back, I inform him we will not be paying for our meal, and that they are falsely advertising entrees that barely qualify as a light snack. My girlfriend is begging me to stop, but that's where we're different. I don't let businesses push me around and rip me off. A manager comes and apologizes but asks us to leave. I don't end up paying as they realized I called them out on their crap. My girlfriend is silent the entire time on the way back. I'm still hungry, so I drive through McDonald's and get a burger, and when I did that, she asked to be dropped off at her place. It's now the next day and I'm starting to think I didn't handle the situation as well as I could have. I could have probably just asked for a discount. My girlfriend hasn't responded to my texts, so now I'm starting to think I'm an idiot. You are the idiot. You went to a restaurant, ordered, ate, then refused to pay for what you ate. If you'd walked when you saw that they were smaller portions, you'd be less of an idiot, but no, you ate it all and then pitched a fit. No one was pushing you around. I mean, you ordered a bison steak. You realize there's not a ton of those anymore, right? You ordered semi-exotic meat, ate it, then refused to pay. And $60 for 2 people at a nice restaurant is damn good. You are the idiot. The portions and prices you describe sound pretty average for restaurants that aren't fast food or a chain. There was no false advertising involved. It's spelled gnocchi, and it's common. They serve it at Olive Garden, my dude. It sounds like you should probably just stick to American chain restaurants that serve outlandishly huge portions of pre-made frozen meals. Your poor girlfriend. It sounds like she just wanted a nice night out at a place where the menus aren't laminated and filled with pictures, and you embarrassed her with your childish behavior. You are the idiot for sure. You don't get to decide what is and isn't an entree at a place. If you don't like the sizes, that's fine, don't go back. But to cheat them out of the money you owe them is not only an awful behavior, but honestly, they should have called the cops on you for attempted dining and dash. You're lucky they just comped your meal instead of escalating it because they don't want to deal with the explosion of an entitled idiot. So last week I called in sick for a shift on Friday. The night before I was having a rough go. My mental state wasn't the best. Basically, I was having a sad night and didn't feel mentally, emotionally, or even physically okay to go in for my shift. I called in, asked for the day off so I could come back to work the next day feeling refreshed. Everything seemed to be fine, my manager wasn't upset, my shift was covered, and blah blah blah. Now 2 days ago while I was at work, one of my supervisors told me that someone told her I was out drinking Thursday night, hence the sick day Friday. I was upset because I didn't think I should have to explain anything to anyone. It was covered, I needed the day off. She told me that she wasn't going to tell me who said it. There's only a couple of young people who work there. 2 of them are especially gossipy, and it's an ongoing joke that they do so. I asked one of the girls, I said, "Supervisor said someone told her I was downtown drinking Thursday night. I don't know if it was you or X or who it was, but I would appreciate it if no one said anything about me that isn't true. I wouldn't be upset if it was true, yada yada." She said it wasn't her. I was like, okay, thank you. That was all. Now, I just went in to pick up my check. The supervisor comes up to me. "I heard you were going around asking people who said that about you. You can't be doing that just because I told you what someone said." Supervisor, if someone is talking about me, I have every right to tell people I don't appreciate it. I couldn't tell them specifically because you wouldn't say who it was. That's because I was lying to see if you were actually drinking. So you lied to me and now you can't handle the consequences of the lie. And it went on like this with her, thinking that I was petty for going around and asking, and of course, I think she's crazy. She's a 40-year-old woman, I'm 22, for starting a rumor about me, to me. Not the idiot. This is messed up. It's a pity that this insane woman is in a position of power over your job and income. You are 100% right, it is none of your supervisor's business why you needed the shift covered, especially since it was successfully covered. I would personally apologize to the coworker you approached initially though, and then try to find another job or position where the supervisor doesn't play mind games. Not the idiot. Do not go around asking anymore, the point has been made. Next time that kind of gossip is on the table, they will ignore it, as they know that you will attempt, or succeed, in raising hell, and as we all know, nobody who gossips/bosses is looking for a fight, they are looking for a subordinate. What I'm saying is that a simple gesture of showing that you aren't willing to let things slide can go a long, long way. You have done that, and that's awesome. Not the idiot. Part of management is knowing that people call out sometimes, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm sure my employees have played hooky on me once or twice, so what? There is no good that would ever come out of me trying to trap them like that. If you're not excessively calling out, there is no reason for your supervisor to have acted that way. And even if that were the case, what she could have done was asked for a doctor's note. Not try and make up some lie about this or that in an attempt to get you to fess up about drinking. Yesterday was my 20th birthday, and my boyfriend bought me a car. My boyfriend is 22. He has been pestering me for the entire relationship, 18 months, to pass my driving test. 3 weeks ago, I started my lessons, pretty much just to shut him up about it. I don't have much ambition to drive, as the public transport around me is easier, cheaper, and just more preferable for me. About 4 weeks ago, he asked me what I wanted for my birthday. I told him that I wanted the new Louis Capaldi vinyl in the limited edition red. It came out not long before my birthday, so to me, it seemed like a fine gift, and fairly reasonably priced. I woke up on my birthday to him having messaged me saying to go to his at some point. So, I spent the morning with my parents and then got the tube to his place. He met me outside, with a huge grin on his face. He told me to follow him and took me into his apartment's car park. He then pointed to a Mini Cooper in his space, and said happy birthday. I was just kind of surprised, so when he asked me what I thought, I just said I haven't even passed my theory yet. Looking back, I probably should have said something else, but I really did not know what to think. He then told me to go and look on the passenger seat, where the Louis Capaldi CD was. He said it was so I could listen to it in the car. I don't have a CD player, other than the car now I guess. Basically, this gift is more of a burden to me than anything else. I live in a terraced house with my family, who already park in front, so I have nowhere to put the car, no way to pay for it, and no ambition to even drive it. I did thank him and did not say any of this to him, but I was complaining to my sister, who told me I was being an ungrateful idiot and should be thankful he got me anything, which I am. I just would have preferred that he spent £25 on what I actually wanted rather than £1,500, plus £10 for the CD, on something that I can't even use. My parents agree with her. Am I the idiot for being ungrateful for this gift? Not the idiot. Giving a gift that is not about the recipient, but about the giver, is always an idiot move. And that's what your boyfriend has done here. To top it off, a car is a massive burden, especially living in a city like London. And the fact that he apparently doesn't care about your preferences is a huge deal. Tell him, thanks, but I can't use it all, you need to sell it instead. No idiots here. This was obviously a big gesture on his part and his intentions were good, so I can't fairly call him an idiot, but this is literally the opposite of a thoughtful gift. 5 minutes of thought on his part would make it clear that his gift to you is making you financially responsible for insuring, which as a new driver will likely cost more than the actual car, and parking, which in central London can also easily cost more than the car itself over the course of a year, a car which you are legally unable to use yet and will be unlikely to use even once you have passed your test. You are the idiot. I can see your justification and how impractical the car is, but, in all honesty, he got you a really expensive gift that he thought you'd use. Considering your lessons, does he know you're doing them for him? Plus a CD of the thing you wanted, and although it's not the vinyl, which I understand can be frustrating, it's still a gift and it's important to be grateful for receiving a gift, no matter what it is. I live with my sister and we are both adults. I moved in 1.5 months ago after my old roommates got us evicted and I had nowhere else to go. I didn't have any savings, so she said I could move in and she'd give me a couple of months to pay her retroactively for rent and bills. Rent plus bills are like $850 a month, so I owed her for part of last month, all of this month, and then of course June rent and bills are coming up. I've given her like $800 so far. She also paid the movers, so I am paying her back for that too. It's a lot. I've given what I can spare right now, but I got a raise at work, so we should hopefully be square in a month, or so I thought. Now she's trying to tell me that I owe her for taking my clothes to the laundromat, the food that I ate, and because I drank a couple of bottles of her wine. She is seriously tacking on more to what I owe her, and yes, she did pay for all of that. but she never said I had to pay her for it. I just assumed I'd buy groceries sometimes after I pay her back. This all came out because I sent her $100 yesterday and I tried marking down that I paid her the $100. She said no, it was only $30 because we went to the grocery store afterward and we got $100 worth of stuff, but $70 of it was mine. I said it was meant to share, but she said she didn't want the kind of stuff I bought. To be fair, it isn't really the kind of stuff she gets for herself, but the stuff I ate of hers wasn't the stuff I'd get for myself either. Then she tells me that if I want to count the whole $100 to what I owe, she is going to make me pay for everything I had the past month and a half. Like, seriously, 2 bottles of wine for $80. Lunch meat that is $13? I think she is being insane if she expects me to pay that much, especially since I told her she can eat what I got but she doesn't want to because it's cheap in her words. You are the idiot. You should always ask before eating someone else's food, and I don't think it's unfair for her to ask you to pay her back. I think you shouldn't have assumed that you'd be able to eat for free, and you really should have worked this out beforehand or just bought your own food, and borrowed some money from her to do so. You just assumed. And you shouldn't have. If she bought expensive food, and you ate it, then you should pay for expensive food. Also, if anything, $100 for food and laundry is lowballing if you've been there for over a month. You are the idiot. Food, I can see because you need it to live. 2 bottles of $40 wine? You didn't need that at all. Pay your share. It may take longer and you may have to eat crappier food, but it's not your sister's responsibility to keep you in wine and good food. And stop the "she never told me I'd have to pay for food or laundry" act, because who else is supposed to pay for you? You assumed she would be paying for your needs because you're the family. She did you a favor, stop taking advantage. You are the idiot. She's been pretty gracious about setting reasonable expectations on you living with her. You've taken additional liberties beyond those expectations by eating her food and drinking her wine, whatever is going on with the laundromat stuff. I'm assuming you're the younger sibling and perhaps your previous apartment was your first time living with people who aren't your parents. In the future, expect that you and your roommates will not be sharing food and laundromat trips unless you guys discuss it ahead of time and respect each other's stuff. Time to grow up.